Unfortunately, knows all too well what it's like to be bullied.
Yeah, now she's made it her life's work to help children and adults who are also victims. Gabriella Van Ray is an internationally recognized bullying expert. She's the author of these two books. The first one is about her own experience. The other was written to inspire kids. So we want to welcome her to the show. But also, before we start, we want to remind our viewers, we put something on Facebook. If you would like to get in touch with us and ask a question of Gabriella, you can do that by emailing us. She'll answer them a little bit later in the show. You can get a hold of us again on Facebook, or if you prefer to be a little bit more private, you can email us at feedback@themorningblend.com. Good morning.
Good morning, Gabriella.
Good morning.
Nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
You have an interesting story in your book, and you know, a lot of people feel like they've gone through adversity and then they kind of overcome it and they accomplish great things. But you didn't just kind of put that past behind you. You're now kind of dedicated to helping other people get through those struggles.
Yes, one of the things that amazed me is that we're losing so many children to suicide. And how can we, you know, literally, how can this whole bullying turn into losing lives every day? Well, and if you made the list, it's horrendous.
It is, yeah.
And it's not one list that you want to be a part of. You know, just today in the news, there's a young boy out of Philadelphia named Bailey ONeal who turned 12 on Saturday and passed away because he experienced what you said. He was on that list. He was jumped by two of his classmates and ended up the next day having seizures, having to be put into a medically induced coma, and then didn't survive. Now they're investigating, you know, to see if that was part of the cause of his death. But this story is not surprisingly unique, is it?
No, unfortunately it isn't. I mean, I could name a lot of children, but one of the most recent ones was Felicia Garcia, who jumped in front of a train. But I think what shocks me, and that's why I'm out there, is that the youngest one is 7. And we lose the boys faster because of the method they use. And then again, you were saying about choices this morning. If my slogan is about human kindness and picking up the ball, I try to say to these kids that they have a choice every morning to be kind or mean. It's a choice. It's a conscious choice. Nobody is telling you to be a bully.
Yeah, exactly. I think one of the scary things we've learned is that a lot of bullies learn it at home. So their parents actually model bullying behavior, being mean or doing ultimatums or threatening things, and then it's passed down to their kids. Give us an example from your background, from your childhood, when you were bullied very specifically, because you're a beautiful woman, you're very accomplished, and people would see you today and think, oh, no one would ever bully her.
Yeah, I know. But honestly, I was. First of all, because I stood out. I was adopted from Pakistan, and I lived in the Netherlands, where predominantly everyone has blonde hair and blue eyes, like you. And so that was already enough, especially in the 60s. Today, that, I think, would happen a little bit less. But what stood by me my whole life is that I moved schools, my parents divorced, and I couldn't make friends at all. You know, 9 is already an awkward age. And finally, one of the boys in the classroom said, meet me there and we'll play with you. And he came not alone, he came with the whole class. So it was a gang up, you know, they ganged up on me. And they called me peanut butter, and they just kept going in that story, you know. And having 30 kids yell to you peanut butter because of your skin color, that there's nothing much you can do about the skin color. And so I felt truly as if the world could have swallowed me. And when I go out in schools, I try to tell them that the reason I'm alive today is because I didn't know about social media, thank goodness. There was no social media. But if they had taken a picture of me right there and then, they ripped off my clothes. If they had taken a picture, and that would have gone viral on Facebook like we see today so often, I don't think I would have withstood the pressure and the humiliation either.
Did they rip off your clothes?
Yeah, they ripped off my little skirt. And so I stood there with, you know, pretty dorky to stand there in your underwear in front of 30 children.
For sure. Yeah, that's painful. I'm
Very
sure to
painful.
even think about now.
Yeah. And I never ate peanut butter until I was 40 again. And I love peanut butter. And I said, I'm going to eat what I like.
Exactly.
But it takes a long time because words really do hurt. And whoever invented that saying with sticks and stones, it doesn't work. I mean, kids all internalize it. But I think what is a really, really big problem is we don't tell our parents. I didn't either. How can you tell your parents? It's so humiliating being at home should be safe. So when you go home, you don't want it anymore. But these kids of today have it non-stop. They don't tell their parents. Every time they pick up a smartphone, Facebook is on there, or
they're seeing it,
or Twitter.
They're
anything.
reminded of it,
and it continues. It doesn't let up.
Never stops. I don't understand this. I really think that social media in the hands of very young children, I would say more than half of the hands go up in 2nd grade. They all have Facebook. I'm sorry.
And you're not supposed to have it until you're 13 legally.
But I thought you couldn't even write properly.
Yeah, I know. Right,
I don't remember that I wrote anything properly.
Yeah, that's
true. And I think what's so disheartening and is so painful to hear your story and so many stories like that is that you're attacked on things, like you said, that you can't change about yourself. There are things that, this isn't, you know, a hairstyle or a pair of glasses, you know, these are things that you literally cannot change about yourself, so you can't get away from that feeling that they're instilling in you. And what do you think are the misconceptions that educators have, that parents have? Is it that this is just a natural part of growing up? Is that a misconception?
Total misconception. Parents say tough it up. Even educators say tough it up. So for me, it's because it's a deniability. It's so much easier to push the problem away. It's so much more difficult as a parent, and I understand. I'm a parent too. You come home, you're tired, you'd like to hear something good. You don't always want to hear something bad, but you have to deal with it because your child will have issues later on in life. And so I think one of the first things is talk, communicate, learn. Parents need to learn that this smartphone is a computer. Because most people think, oh, well, my child will need phones or text. But the text has pictures and videos and links and so many things. That's one of the things. I think people forget that. And then educators don't send children away. When they come to you, my findings in research of the last year of suicide is that a lot of children did go to someone, an adult in the school, did not get the help that they felt they needed, and within 48 hours this child is actually dead.
Let's talk about your 3-step program to stop bullying, to put an end to it. And it starts with being an active witness. What does that mean? Because we've heard on the show before, even if a group of kids just go, dude, that's not cool, or knock it off, especially in front of people, that can be useful to not just sit there, because you almost become part of it by not saying something.
I think you're complicit. I think you're totally as guilty as the bully. You know, when I always take the same example, you're in school and someone starts fighting, or 2 girls are really mean to each other. The whole school comes around. I said, don't do that, because you're giving the bully the power. You're giving him the momentum. Him, I'm saying him, but she, okay? Both. So you're giving the momentum to this child. So don't do that. If you don't dare to say anything, because some people don't, become the active witness by walking away. All your friends will walk with you. I really believe that. And the bully stands there going, huh? What just happened here? Because it won't continue without the audience. I'm certain of it.
Yeah,
that's you know, we haven't heard that here. You know, we've heard the say something or speak up. You've got to be a part of that. But even just walking away, which can feel passive, can actually be very powerful. You're saying that's your first step.
That's my
to be
first
that
step.
active witness. Your second step is to learn the signs. What are the signs?
Well, I think a bully. People say I wouldn't know what a bully is, but a bully is someone, and believe it or not, most people get a little bit antsy when I say this. They're mirror images of each other, the bully and the victim. They're identical. They both have problems in self-esteem and many things. The list could go on. So the bully is someone who acts out. Do you see that? Do you remember that kid in Kmart that stamps their foot and that gets everything the parents want? That kid is a bully already to their parents. So for that kid to learn that behavior at home, even if the parents are not a bully, I just want to make a distinction there. A child can be really difficult, and it learns to get everything at once. So at school, it continues the pattern. So that could be a sign. Also, both isolate themselves. I don't think a bully has a lot of friends. I really don't believe it. They look powerful at school, but it's only because there's a crowd. I don't think they have personal friends. So isolation would be the second one. And the signs go on, but they're so long and they keep changing. So I think we need to have a list out there that keeps showing examples of what's happening today.
The last thing is intervention. How does this actually work? You know, what kinds of things need to happen in order to truly intervene and have the bullying stop?
For me, most people, and that's good too, do only punishment. I think punishment is okay but not enough. I mean, I don't think anyone should get away by helping someone commit suicide, ever. Okay, I think it should be punishable. But I'm trying to say that before it ever escalates to that, put the bully, even if there's several, put the groups together with the victim, with a counselor, and I know this is difficult to do because money-wise for the schools, and talk. Because once the victim actually realizes that the bully has the same problems, when they see the fear on the other person and the insecurity, the bully becomes human. And I always say to the counselor, you have to start out now by saying, why are you doing this? We start often out like this. The bully will get so defensive. But if we start out by saying, who hurt you? What hurt you? Why are you so sad? Because it's sadness. Anger is never about happiness. Anger is about sadness. So when you start like that, the victim even goes, okay, what's going on here? Because there's such a shift, and the bully becomes human, a total human being. And that's what I need to see, because then is the only moment that we can truly heal both sides.
And healing is the key. You know, you're going to stick around for us. I want to put your website up so people know where they can find you. It's Gabriella Van Ray, spelled RIGJ.com. Also, again, please send us your questions. Go to our Facebook page. You can sound off. Let us know there what your question is for Gabriella. If you'd like to be anonymous, email us at feedback@themorningblend.com as well. We will have a chance to go through some of those questions with her a little later in the show. Thanks for being here. Very important, Gabriella.
Nice to have you. Thank you.
All right, up next, planning spring.